Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. When we last left off, we had just lost pretty much our most modern light cruiser, or at least our fighting cruiser. We do have some Galilees that should be okay for a little while longer, and we do have these Trodes. However, the Trodes were built before we had superimposed turrets on the front, so they only have rear superimposed. The gun arrangement isn't awful on them, they are definitely serviceable. But in the meantime, it does mean that we are in the market for a new cruiser design, and we are about to have a bunch of Claymores leave the slipway, and one more following about a year behind. We also may be in the market for more Corvettes. In fact, I might start building a few of those. How much is that going to cost? They're pretty cheap. Yeah, we can go one more. Yeah, we'll go 5 more. Yep. We'll see those in a year. The war will be over by then, but we will be in need. Let's see what our Austro-Hungarian friends actually have. They still have a few heavy cruisers, more than us, but our 3 heavy cruisers are way more per ship than theirs do. We do outnumber them heavily in light cruisers, so we may end up taking a few of these light cruisers off active duty and put them on trade protection. In fact, we might just do that. I'm going to put Sarkouf on trade protection. Monclam, you are already on trade protection. So the 2 battle cruisers, although that's a little bit wasteful, but I'd rather they be in Northern Europe instead of duking it out in the middle of the Mediterranean. These ones are working up, so we'll put them... these ones have finished working up, sorry. So we'll put them into the Mediterranean. And these 3 are still fixing out the kinks. Alright. We have a Minesweeper up there. We have 2 in the Mediterranean. We are going to need a new class of Minesweeper. That might be something to work on. But for now, we'll see what the next turn brings. I am hoping that the Austro-Hungarians do yep, there we go. We can't get anything off of them. Yep. Yep, so we're in trouble with the old naval budget. Italy is building air bases. A couple of new corvettes that are being laid down across the world. Yep, a lot of wartime shipping is being scrapped. And it's time to sort out the issues with our own fleet. So we might bring everyone back into Northern Europe. We'll leave the Tourville and the Lille down there. They will be needing refits shortly anyway. We'll bring this one back to Northern Europe. I should have left the other one. Galilee. Yeah, we will have to refurbish our colonial cruisers at some point. The Bronin is going to need a refit. Although the Aramachis might need it more. You 2 are brand new, you're okay. Launch should be fine. I don't think it's worth doing anything to catapults. I would rather... Maybe we'll develop La Fantastic to replace our claymores, even though they're still actually very competitive. We will need more... We're definitely going to need more corvettes. Our corvettes suffered quite a lot. We're going to have to start finishing these battleships. I might just have to scrap the Sulferno. It doesn't look like she's going to be finished. But in the meantime, just to halt the bleeding, we will stop the magenta. It's already 1938. I say already, and we're 32 episodes in now. And we haven't even started working on the Bourget launcher. So we'll see. I'll work on the fleet carrier. I'll work on the fleet carrier. And then we'll think about the Bourget launcher. How about that? I also need to change some of these air groups because we might end up deploying some medium bombers. I might put a medium bomber squadron in Le Havre. Mia's Al Kabir could be another good place for it. In fact, we might do that. We might build one in Mia's Al Kabir. Air base, Mia's Al Kabir. Close. Our airship bases probably have reached the end of their useful lifespan. So we might scrap all of those. Oops, so we have to do it one at a time. Alright. I mean, the airship bases are pretty cheap, but at the same time, they're not very useful at the moment. So now all the crosses on the map that we have are all air bases, and not to be confused with airship bases. I should probably build one in Da Nang. Try and close that gap there. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Airship base in Da Nang. Now, members of the Naval Board have been imploring me to start a fight with Italy. But just, I'd like to take at least 1 year to try and get some of the fleet back in order. Let's see what they're rocking. Our budget is larger, but they have more battleships. They have more battle cruisers. In fact, they've invested heavily in battle cruisers, even more than battleships. That's a little bit odd. If I was in Italy's position, I would prefer more battleships. But then again, maybe the AI is following historical doctrine and they're going all about speed. Oh. Those new aircraft carriers are theirs. Our CVLs are heavier. Of course, we'll only probably be deploying 2 of them, and they'll be using their whole force. I am concerned about their heavy cruisers. The Goidens are very good, but they're very expensive. So we may... I'll think about it. We may... maybe off camera I'll play around and we'll see what we can actually build for a little bit cheaper. CLs I would like some more, because we still have a lot of the Targets. There you go, Targets, refitted in 1919, so they are massively out of date. Tourville last refitted in 1918. That's how little money the French Navy actually gets. So we will look into that battle cruiser, I do want to get some of these ships out of the way. And we are going to have to start building a couple of new submarines as well, but in time. In time. I'm looking at the strategic situation. Perhaps the first place we'll want to hit is, how do you pronounce that? Masua? The bit of South Africa, that or bit of Middle Africa that that Italy owns, and then we'll just be able to just take them out of the Indian Ocean entirely, and then we'll be able to focus on the Mediterranean. A fight in the Mediterranean would be odd, simply because aircraft would be flying everywhere. It would be an interesting fight. It could be interesting, I don't know. Think about it some more, and then we'll see what we have to do. We might end up reinforcing some of these air bases as well, and I might get Nice and Marseille, some airfields on those. I do need to get them on Rochelle as well. Well, time to see how the turns play out. Our new docks are ready. Our air bases are much larger. Now that we have advanced fire control, it may be time. Diving shells. I'm going to turn. Yeah. With the advanced advanced rangefinders, we should be okay for accuracy. It won't save a heck of a lot, but it should keep our costs down. He says, looking at his, well, we'll see what happens next turn with that. More docks, because we're going to need, I won't be happy until we're at about 80,000. Everyone seems to be working out with this technology sharing agreement. The Grosser Kurfürst, built in 1915. Wow, they kept that around a long time, almost as long as we've kept poor Tourville. Been keeping the peace, keeping world peace since 1910 or something. Would very much like a break. Oh, okay, so our air bases are being re-equipped. I do need to check on the Italians have invented integral armor. I have to check what that is. And they have a new float plane. Let's see, what are we working on? We're working on a new fighter. We're interested. What do the Italians have? The Regine. So it's faster than our one, significantly. But I'm hoping if we can get that new fighter together, because our one is a wee bit older. In fact, their one's brand spanking new. Wow. That jump in technology. Look at our fighter bombers. Our fighter bombers appear to be, our dive bombers appear to be okay. Probably will start lowering. Well, we've just got those new torpedoes, so perhaps they'll be a bit better. Our new float plane scout should be one of the best in the world, and it kind of is. Very fast. Yep, and our flying boats are, I'm going to say they're pretty good. They look pretty good. I believe our medium bombers are in a little bit of dire straits, or they were. No, okay, we must have gotten. Okay, we did get a new one. between wars. Do you need to check which one was it? Spalato. Here it is, medium bomber. They have their aircraft. What about Reykjavik? Airbase Reykjavik. Interesting people, Icelanders. For some reason, they're always portrayed as tall, blonde beauties, but every single one I've met has been sort of short and lumpy. Friendly people, though. So they have medium bombers. We'll build in Le Havre. And we'll put some medium bombers there. And we will build in maybe Marseille. Nice could be... Yeah, thing is, Nice is the first thing that's going to get bombed all the time, so we may build it in Marseille. Oh, losing money again. Well, US Navy is putting strange mattress-like antennas on their ships, so they have radar now as well. I'm surprised they didn't get it from the technology sharing agreement. Maybe we're about to find out. We didn't get a pop-up. Okay. Oh, here we go. A spy from Italy. Look, I'm going to play that shit up. I need money. Unexpected. Oh, okay, so our cap is, yep, new fighters. Let's take a look. So that is pretty fast. Don't know if that's knots or kilometers, because that would be incredibly slow if it was kilometers, but all of them are very much faster. Oh, look at that firepower. It's 3 times the firepower. They must be putting some 20mm cannons in there or something. It's less maneuverable, but it is tougher. I'm going to go with the Moraine Solner, MS-113. In fact, Moraine Solner has actually provided 2 examples. Well, we'll go for the top one. Austria-Hungary is scrapping some submarines. Great Britain has laid down a new battlecruiser. Lots of new destroyers. St. Louis. Well, actually, it is St. Louis because it's American, sorry. Nation stolen. Technology screen. Okay. Alright. Even Italy wasn't that pissed that we caught their spy, apparently, because everyone seemed to enjoy that. I will just look and research because they said lighter than air. Improved diesel. Maybe I got rid of those bases too soon, but I don't think so somehow. Yeah, so we definitely want radar on high. I'm okay with our torpedo technology being low. Alright, so our maintenance isn't too bad. We're spending a lot on construction and a lot on naval aircraft. Almost half the fleet budget is going into naval aircraft. Do we have enhanced training? I thought we got rid of enhanced training. Let me just take a look. I'm going to put stop training. Yep. We won't get elite pilot training. Diving shells I've never actually used before, so I can't say how impressive or unimpressive they may be. Yeah, so we should start seeing some clearing shortly. I may... Yeah. Oh, good. Because we won't be able to build the Bourget launcher if they fucking make another treaty. Ah, that's okay. Finish construction of airbase at Arnhem. Arnhem? No, that would be Arnhem, I think. I have no idea how the French actually pronounce their Vietnam colonies. Lengthened torpedoes. Okay, so they're a little bit behind us. I'm not sure if we're going to put torpedoes. Well, we'll probably put them on the light cruisers. Definitely not our heavies. Henriette's coming together. I will put Magenta on build. See if we can get a little bit more. We're still actually in the green. Very well. Let's see what we can do here. So the glory of Jesus in the Caribbean and the Indian Ocean. Yeah, so I'll wait until we're off camera, and I'll start shuffling these corvettes around. So I'll put the Henriettes in Northern Europe and the Mediterranean, and we'll move the Diamats, who have actually provided very good service. In fact, I might move all of our corvettes to reserve. Won't do a heck of a lot because they are actually incredibly cheap to maintain. In fact, the Henriettes are cheaper, are much cheaper than... No, not too much cheaper, but they're a little bit cheaper to run than some of our earlier models. Oh, but they are cheaper than these ones. So we may... yeah, I'm going to get rid of Glory of Jesus. Yep. The Javelins are still good. They performed very well. So they may be in for a refit, although there's not too much I can do for them. We could give them a director. I think I would rather they have an AA director though. And we'll see if we can put some K guns on them. Let's see, where do the Italians outshine us? So a lot of their battleships are treaty. In fact, all of their battleships are treaty. Their battle cruisers are where they've spent a heck of a lot of money. Speed 30. It's not bad. I don't know where the extra weight's coming from. 10.5-inch. So it's heavily armored for a battle cruiser. 13-inch cannon. Not bad. 14 5-inch gun. She's acceptable. I don't know where her extra tonnage is coming from, but maybe it's a torpedo protective system. Could be she's got a heck of a lot of deck armor as well. Her heavy cruisers. This is the part that worries me because right now the Montcalm definitely needs to go into a refit. Let me go back. Okay, so it's a bit of a. I'm not terribly impressed, but this is a little bit more like it. 9-inch cannon, yeah. 4-inch belt. Not terribly impressive against something like the Goiden, but not a bad design. I could see 4 of these, 3 or 4 of these, jumping on a single Goiden and doing some serious damage. Although the heavy cruiser designs actually get smaller from here. This is probably another area we may get in okay, okay. Light cruisers are another area we may get in trouble. They've made some very unusual design choices I'm not sure I agree with. This is the more modern one, 6-inch caliber. Not as many guns. And they've put mines on them, so that could be a problem. I would not... Yeah, look, if I put mines on a light cruiser, that light cruiser is only going to do minefield duty. Every time a mine layer ends up in a fight, it really shouldn't. It's a bit of a worry. I have to try and work out how many aircraft can these take. 53 aircraft. So it's probably not armored. Probably. So it'll be interesting to catch those out in the open. Their light carriers are very slow. Maybe a situation where we get a glorious again, or should I say, whatever that Austria-Hungarian cruiser carrier was that got hunted down by Fian. We may have that happen again. Although those are even slower at only 18 knots. And we have a lot of mine-laying destroyers. Are they putting... Let's take a look, sorry. Oh, four 6-inch guns. Is that even legal? Speed's okay. 45 knots, I mean, not bad. Their tonnage on their destroyers has gone down significantly. So they're building lots of these smaller destroyers. 6 4-inch, yeah. 8 torpedo tubes, so 4 quads, 2 quads. Not as much anti-aircraft defense. Their corvettes don't appear to be up to much, however. Then again, they only have to manage one area, so... their latest corvette, here we don't have any stats on that. Doesn't look like it has much in the way of anti-submarine gear. They do have an equal amount of submarines. Austria-Hungary has built a lot of submarines. Remember, if you lose the surface war, sometimes you can win through submarines, just as long as they don't blockade you like we did to Austria-Hungary. I'm going to send a diplomatic note. In fact, we'll take Germany off as well. What ships do we have being built? We've got the new Claymore, Claymore 2. You know what we're going to do? We're going to build ourselves... I've got no minutes left, so we're going to go a few minutes over time building a new light cruiser. How about that? Will you forgive me? What the f... yeah, no, I don't think that's going to happen somehow. Give me a budget one. Budget. No, stop. This is more like it. 6-inch guns, yeah. Advanced Director, Cross-Tech Fire. I'm going to go down to 3-inch anti-aircraft rifles. Not as impressive in the weight of fire, but I believe they are adequate. I would like a torpedo defense on that. So we'll drop the speed down by 1 knot, because that was what killed the Luca. She ran into a mine, and that lack of torpedo defense did her in. Why do you have 4 AA directors? No, stop that. That works. No seaplane. Well, that should be okay. 85 tons remaining. We are getting into the late game. So there's not much point giving her a hell of a lot of room. She has enough room to put on radar and all that. So we will forbin as acceptable, 8,500 tons. Not cheap to build, that's the only thing. I was hoping for something that was... tell you what, we'll do 2 classes. And we'll spend a little bit more on this one. We'll give it 2 seaplane hangar, and you will need a catapult. We're going to put you in midships. No, it doesn't look good there. Okay. No, not wings. Aft centerline. And if we move one of the funnels up there, that seems to work. All right. So she'll be a little bit more expensive. We'll build a couple of these, and then we'll build a escort cruiser, which you will see in the next episode. All good, all good. Until then, ciao.